What's going on, my people? This is your host, Blanche, Eden with Black Trending News. This is episode 19, and today we're going to be talking about a heavy topic, sex offenders and the sex trafficking and prostitution that's going on in Gambia, where sex beasts are buying African children and toddlers to rape. The article here in the UK Sun, you could see it for yourself on the Sun. In the UK, it says that the Gambian children are being sold to British pedophiles for as little as £2 a time by their desperate parents. Now, before you judge these people, I definitely want to put this a little more into perspective. I'm not happy with what these parents are doing at all. In no way am I saying pat them on the back. They're good parents. What I'm saying is that most of us cannot imagine the destitution and the desperation that is happening around the world in these countries where they don't eat, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothes, they use the bathroom in the ground. Their lives are totally different, and their struggle is on a whole nother level than most of us in this country could ever experience. I think even the worst experience in this country may not even measure up to an average day for them. So the parents that are selling their children into this have to be completely desperate, right? I think most of us can understand that parents love their children and they would never want to sell their children for sex, right? They would never want to do that. But just put yourself in their shoes and say, my goodness, what other option do I have? According to the story, these parents or these people in the Gambia, or just maybe Africa in general, are looking at these white men and almost in a way where they're grateful. They're grateful for their money. I mean, they're grateful for £50. It's reported that some of these men may see these young boys selling peanuts or whatever they're selling for like £1 a bag. And the quote beast, European beast, the white man, middle-aged white man, will come around and lure them into their hotel rooms or somewhere private and alone for £50. So just imagine being able to go home to your parents with £50, right? Now, they're going to be ecstatic about this. They're going to say, where are you getting this money from? Wherever you're getting it from, go back and get more. Unfortunately, the child may not tell the parent, right? Just thinking hypothetically, they may not tell the parent what they're doing for the £50. They may feel good about being rewarded. Especially if it's a boy, they may feel like, you know what, I'm making things happen for mom. Who knows what the situation is, but obviously it's really disgusting. Anyway, I don't think that the Gambians or the African people are to blame. I can't really lean towards blaming them. I'm not happy about what they're doing, but I think there's a lot of gray area that we may not think about, right? And I might have taken some time to just think about those things. It says here, huge numbers of predators are taking advantage of the lax laws in the poverty-stricken African country to embark on sick child abuse holidays where they openly target little boys and girls. They find these kids, they take them to the beach, they spend the day with them. It's like a sick, nasty date, disgusting, right? Take them in the water. There's a picture of a British man in a bar with a 2 or 3-year-old in his arms at night. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, what's going on? This is not a situation or a time that this child should be up away from his parents. People see this and turn the other cheek. The Sun Online saw firsthand how poor Gambian children can be vulnerable to British pedos or pedos, whatever you call these people, when we visited the beach resorts that dot Kalali on the country's picturesque Atlantic coastline. Our reporter was constantly shocked by the number of unaccompanied African minors he saw being cared for by middle-aged Western white men who did not appear to be their biological fathers. The encounters witnessed included a girl aged between 6 and 8 having lunch with a balding, white-haired man in a restaurant filled with similarly aged tourists. Now, if this doesn't stand out, then what does, right? Continues, it says here, the same day, they saw a stoutly built man in his 50s or 60s wading into the ocean, gripping the hand of a tiny African child in white swimming shorts. Equally unsettling was the sight of a Gambian toddler watching wide-eyed with fear as a middle-aged white woman got into a fist fight with a young black prostitute at a popular beach bar. So they're fighting. There's grown women fighting these young black, quote, prostitutes, these children who are selling sex to these perverts who are flying in to Gambia to have cheap sex with these poor children. And these poor children are being manipulated. They're being manipulated. They really, really are, for money, for a little bit of money. To them is a whole lot. Okay. They call this the pedophile paradise, where perverts can operate unchecked. Okay, it says here there is a travel firm called Thomas Cook, and Thomas Cook flew 45% of the Gambia's 100,000 annual visitors from the UK to the capital, Banjul, until it went into liquidation under the weight of its debts in September. In an exclusive interview, Lamin Fadi, the national coordinator of the Child Protection Alliance in the Gambia, reveals that both male and female tourists are targeting African minors. Male and female tourists from Europe are targeting these African children. Children, anywhere from 2 to freaking 16, right? He warns that sex is cheap in his country and children are being sold for as little as 150 dollars or just over £2 in the European currency. Says here, some of the parents know their children are being abused and they accept it because they're also desperate for food in their bellies. And I'm sure amongst other reasons, right? There's other reasons why you would sell your child for sex, or you would just turn the other cheek and tell your child to go out there and come back with more money, right? These parents may not even be, they may be in denial. They may be saying, no, my child wouldn't do that. Or they must be going, I know they're doing it, but I don't want to dress it. I just want that money. Okay. Others are too naive to realize they think the Westerner is paying their bills and helping their boy or girl out of the kindness of their little perverted ass hearts, while in reality, they have bad intentions. Child abuse is going on all the time in the Gambia, and the government is not doing enough to put a stop to it. It says here, our children are being approached directly on the beaches or the street, and child abusers from all over Europe, including the UK, are coming here for this particular reason. Says here, I want to make clear that this does not just involve men, but also adult women who are paying for sex with teenage boys in the Gambia. So we have these teenage gigolos in the Gambia selling there for the money, and the white women are hopping and loving it, right? It's disgusting. Says here, we have laws that are supposed to stop this from happening, but they are not being enforced. So we have to become a paradise for pedophiles. Okay, there's tons of footage and pictures of these little children sitting around with these fat, greasy, tanned European Western men, school-aged girls. Okay, no parents in sight. Where are the parents? Their parents let their children go off and whore themselves. Unfortunately, that's what they're doing. And I have a feeling, again, the parents don't know what the hell is going on. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's the money. I'm sure that it's being reported that they're getting up to 50 pounds or 2 pounds, but I'm sure there are some of these children that are getting more than 50 pounds. And if they're doing it several times a day, God knows how much money they're getting. Okay? Oh my goodness. It says here, tourism makes up 1/3 of the country's GDP. There are fears that businesses will go bust and locals will go hungry, following an estimated 50% drop in the economic activity that has already hit beach resorts. So just imagine, right? You're a beach resort, you're a hotel manager. There's no way you're going to say something about these white men coming in and filling up your hotel rooms and buying drinks at your bar and eating food at your resort and keeping you in business. Why would you say something? Why would you? I mean, what would be the point, right? They're making money for you. Lawyer and children's rights advocate Malik Jallow told Sun Online, while some tourists will always want to help poor Gambians, others will see this situation as an opportunity to exploit young children. The problem is that abuse is sometimes carried out with the blessing of the parents because they are so in need. The perception is that white people, or tubabs, as they call them, have stacks of cash, and these parents are often excited that their child has attracted the attention of a white man. It actually makes them feel proud, so they give their permission for the boy or girl to go with the person, and when the police try to question them, they will not cooperate. Former Thomas Cook Representative Ann Heap, 53 years old, from Wigan says, these people are as poor can be. It's rare to see a child wearing shoes, and there isn't any other trade for them outside tourism. Thomas Cook used to always give us an extra 10 kilograms luggage allowance so the workers and passengers could bring aid boxes to the Gambia. Basic things like clothes, medicine, and school equipment. That's very caring. But how far can that go, right? People want money, right? Yes, people want food and basic things like clothes and medicine, but people really want that dollar, right? They want that white man's dollar. The first thing I thought of when we went under was, what is going to happen to people in the Gambia? We were the only airline flying directly there, she says. I've heard that crime has already shot up as there is not enough money coming in and the hand that feeds them is gone. Sex tourism is already huge in the Gambia. Some bars are like brothels, and I do worry that more children will get lured into prostitution to feed their families. She says, when I was working there, I would see old men walking with girls as young as 10, 11, or 12. There is a dark side to the Gambia. One time when we were flying back to Manchester, there was a British man in his 70s with a girl who was only about 8 or 9. This was about 8 years ago. So did he fly his 8-year-old girlfriend to Gambia so that he can do illegal things with her? Or did he fly her out of Gambia back home? What happened? She says she was so concerned about what was going on that she, got chatting about him outside, and she wanted to speak to the girl, but she never left her seat, and the girl didn't look comfortable at all. She said that she reported it to border security later, and they told her that he had been apprehended, but she was not able to find out what happened to him or the girl after that. Okay. So, again, they're saying that there's nothing that is suggesting that these people are having sex with these children, but all you see around this resort are grown men with these little African children. Like, what the fuck do you think is going on? What do you think is going on? There's no proof to suggest that any of them are pedophiles, but what do you think they are doing? It says here that the security guards should have questioned these men, but there's a culture inferiority here, and they would have been scared to challenge a wealthy Westerner. So these white men from Europe are going there knowing that they have power and authority, and they're abusing and raping these young children. It says here, British tourists can still fly to the Gambia via Lisbon with the TAP airline or via Casablanca with Royal Air Maroc. There is also a limited direct service run by the Gambia Experience Company, and package deals can be snapped up for over £500 a person. And here's a picture of 2 British women looking to have sex with this teenage African gigolo. A healthcare assistant, Lucy Mendy, 33 years old, says that she has seen old men taking girls looking as young as 15 or 16 back to their hotel room. She said it made her feel sick and she wished she could intervene, but that is not the UK, and she was scared what might have happened if she tried to confront them. She says that people here are so poor, some of them will do anything for money, even if it means giving their bodies to a tourist. But now that Thomas Cook has collapsed, it's affecting, but they're still getting half as many British tourists, and that means that they might not make enough money to get through the quiet season, which starts in April. Hopefully they won't make enough money. Hopefully this whole British experience and bullshit will break down and it will not exist anymore. I really, really hope so, because this is absolutely disgusting. These white men are just approaching little boys. There's a guy here, right? He tells the children to get out of here and that it's not a safe place for them. He sells fruits on the island, but he says that the children run away and they normally come back because they're getting that paper. Parents say, go back and get that money. Go back and get those British pounds. Okay, their parents are desperate. And some of them are not allowed to come home until they have at least 5 bags sold, which is £10 if they're selling it, or £5 if they're selling it for $1, it's £2, whatever. And again, like I mentioned earlier, they say that some men are taking advantage by offering £50 for the whole basket. And then they'll ask them to go back somewhere private. It's disgusting. Disgusting. They get to parade around paradise and doing this, living out their perverted, nasty fantasies with these young children. It says here, there has been only one successful prosecution since laws were tightened, and that man ended up being pardoned by the president. Okay? Norwegian teacher Savine Agason Dakar, 57 years old, was found guilty of abusing 6 children, the youngest aged 3, in 2006. The court heard how he tricked his way into a hard-up Gambian family by posing as a do-gooder, giving the parents sacks of rice and new shoes in exchange for time alone with their large brood of 6 kids in a hotel room. The pedophile had separate convictions for child abuse in Norway, but was sentenced to just 3 years in jail. Then in 2018, President Adama Barrow decided to pardon him for reasons that have never been explained. The pardon was later revoked amidst a public outcry, but experts fear his case has given a green light to other pedophiles. You see this shit? I bet he did it for money. I bet he did it for money. If you want to help with this situation and you want to donate to EXPLICIT. I'm going to put the link in the description box. Okay? It's the only child rights charity that is solely focusing on ending the sexual exploitation of children. It's called End Child Prostitution and Trafficking, EXPLICIT. I'm going to put the link in the description box. They need money to try to stop this so that they can travel, and hire investigators, whatever they got to do to end this nonsense. If we're not going to go out there and do it, right? We're going to work every day and living out our wonderful American lives here. Can we at least help people that are doing it? Have a good night, and thank you for listening.